Oh, my loves, how are you? Happy 5/5. I today am just going to ask for what's going to be the most beneficial messages for those of you here with me on the channel and those of you who may come across this video. What's going to be the most beneficial for you in this moment. So, whatever you see in the title will be reflective of the messages that come through. And I also just really quick wanted to thank every one of you who joined and participated in the Sacred Circle of Love group on May 1st. It was some very gorgeous, beautiful, powerful energy. And I just want to thank all of you for your participation and presence and receptivity to truly receiving and helping to anchor in the foundation of love frequencies. It was really beautiful and powerful, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And I would love to hear how you guys are doing if you want to let me know. There's definitely been quite a bit of processing. So let's see what wants to come through. All right, Magician's Sword, confidence in your magic. This makes sense to me with what's been going on. So, the energies that I've been picking up on over the last few days, it feels that the collective, those of us, masculine or feminine, that have been working on our internal union and really taking personal responsibility for our codependence or old, like more toxic ways of being, or where we participated in holding things up that were ready to be released and unraveled and dissolved. It feels that I'm sensing a group of you, masculines and feminines, that are really, really starting to anchor in and feel the stabilization of your own core soul essence. This sword is having multiple energies for me right now. Obviously, for me, the sword very much represents like the sword of truth. And the way that this is coming in as the magician's sword, how it's speaking to me is that for those of you that have aligned with the era of truth and the truth energy, and being willing to unravel and dissolve the dissociation and distortion within your system. Yes, it's still a process we're going through. There was quite significant amounts of distortion and delusion here on this planet. But what I'm sensing is that there's a group of the collective that is really, really burned through and transformed and transmuted a significant amount of that distortion and delusion. And so this internal energy is really starting to ramp up through the core of your being. And it's really starting to strengthen and anchor within you, and then also strengthen and anchor within your connection to the planet. And this is significantly supporting you and feeling confident and comfortable in all of who you are, in making your new choices, in doing things differently and in new ways, even when the world around you is not necessarily understanding the shifts and the changes that you're making. And so it feels really important to acknowledge this process and the actual results of what you've been transmuting and transforming into. What's also coming to me is that so, as we've been unraveling and dissolving and making more and more space for true love frequencies, right? To actually ground in and stabilize real love, true love, unconditional love, transcendent love, higher love, right? Embodied love. It's helping you to align more and more with your own internal love, which in turn is allowing you to be present in your life with those who are reciprocating or working to reciprocate those energies. And what I'm sensing is that dance and the reciprocation, that more and more of us have been coming together in these energies. And so it's like you're starting to really form or connect with your tribe or your community of unity, and connecting with more and more people who do actually understand you. Or if this is not happening yet, it's going to be, okay? Because as you're emitting your true essence and your true frequency and your authentic nature, it's going to support you in being able to align with others that are doing the same. And so as we align with our truth, even if we don't exactly know what it is, okay? And there's layers to even that, right? Because you can know your truth or what you want your truth to be, and we can understand these concepts at the higher levels, but then actually embodying them in a physically human physical world manifested way is the embodiment process. And so this is where we're actually becoming our true, full, authentic self. And I just want to acknowledge the incredible capacity that it takes to allow yourself to go into this transformation, because as much as perhaps it's not to say that we were being inauthentic, but in all actuality, we just never had our own access to our true authenticity, because right away we were being told what to do by outside figures. So many of us, I'm not saying everyone, but most of us were not in positions where we were taught to develop all of who we were, right? We were more so taught to fit in with society or what was being done in order to be successful or productive or um, socially acceptable, right? But this is all of the things that we're transmuting, because what they want me to talk about is the place in between. The place in between fitting in with the social norms, right? And then the bridge in between of discomfort or transformation that seems maybe messy or um chaotic to those outside of it that aren't going through the process. And then when we actually land on the other side, transformed in our truth, right? That ultimate glow up of actually becoming the person that you always wanted to be, because you were willing to unravel the pockets that actually weren't helping you to expand into who you were meant to be. And so to the general collective, that part where you're going through the transformation can look chaotic or unstable or, even maybe seemingly immature. But ultimately, it's the opposite. If you keep going with it, if you keep allowing yourself to grow and you don't go back into the fold of the old ways of being, as long as you keep allowing yourself to move through the discomfort and to go through the transformations that the caterpillar goes into to turn into the butterfly. Yes, I've had some deep voice transformation and voice upgrades happening right now. So just bear with me on that. It's been interesting, but in a good way. I'll just stop and talk about it because I think it's an important piece. Part of that transformation, even as we've grown, right? And we're embodying our new ways of being. Sometimes people, places, things, or situations from the past, even patterns come up, okay? And those things come up because they're actually there to help us to kind of finish rooting out the weeds in the garden. Okay. It's because you are ready to drop deeper into the results of everything you've been transforming into. Now, so what might be happening with some of you, especially as we're in this Pluto retrograde, is you might actually find people, places, or things from the past showing up, and all of a sudden you're like, well, I thought I was done with this, or I thought I knew what was happening or how to handle this. It's twofold. One, it's because you're ready to drop deeper into who you are, into your truth, and there might just be some little residuals ready to clean up. But this was a very important piece that wanted to come through. It may also actually be happening not for you. You may actually be present in other people's situations, places, and things because you're being used as a catalyst for whatever transformation that they have been praying for. Okay. It may be about things that they're meant to process or learn. So I want you to check in and discern that. Okay. Like, I know you guys do your stuff, right? So if something comes up, a trigger, work through your part of it. But it could literally be as simple as like, oh my gosh, I'm not even remotely that version of myself. Now all I have to do is drop in the results and the truth of who I am now, right? Stand in that, stand in your confidence, stand in your power, stand in your truth, and then see, okay, why is this actually present right now? Why is this occurring? Is it actually something that's necessary for me? Or is this actually happening for the other people, places, or things involved in this experience? Okay. And so, like I said, if you're taking responsibility for your part and then you're looking at it, it may very well be that you are being there for their growth. Okay. So that feels important because I think that there's going to be more of this happening for our collective. But it's beautiful because it means that you're strong enough to be able to hold those spaces, but also strong enough to be aware of what is yours to process and what isn't, because you're immediately taking responsibility for your part. And when you're doing that up front, I'm sensing that for many of you, it'll actually probably move fairly quickly into the second phase of whatever the experience is. Okay. So, yes, of course, look at what's yours, but it may very well be that you're just ready to drop the transformed version of you into that relationship, into that place, people, situation, or experience. And that may be the simple reality of all that's necessary, because all of the things that you have learned now are not that old version of you. So you do handle things differently. You do move different. You do have new, broader perspectives and broader tools of how to navigate things. And if for some reason in any of those situations you find that there's still pockets for you to grow from as well, by all means do that, right? This is what we're here for, to drop into our confidence of who we are and being confident and comfortable enough within ourselves that we're okay if there's something for us to take responsibility for, right? Okay, beautiful. So now I want to actually pull a message from the masculine collective, and then we're going to pull from the feminine collective to see if there's any additional supports that want to come through within this dynamic of what might be being presented for you. You may be just coming out of it, you may just be going into it, or it may be coming up ahead where you're just being called to drop in your newest version of self into whatever presents, even if it's essence and energy or patterns from the past. Okay. So from the masculines, we have the Seven of Swords. Let's see this, more of the swords and the truth. Okay. We got a couple things that fell. So, one, before I even pick up those cards, I want to say the immediate process that's coming through for me. This card is often the betrayal card in some instances, but I always don't look at it just based on what the traditional meaning of the card is. This actually feels a bit different to me today, within the fact that this feels more about stepping into our truth, releasing self betrayal, okay, and honoring the process of our loyalty and what, who, when, why, and where, what we are actually giving our loyalty to. And one of these very big things that has been eye opening and supportive and helpful for me, I'm a very loyal person. And what I have realized is that I am loyal until it requires me to self betray to maintain that loyalty with you. You understand? So it's like my self-loyalty has to be the priority. And then my loyalty to all else is present after that. And I'm still loyal. I'm still going to be respectful. But if I feel that I'm in a position where I have to self betray in order to maintain my loyalty to our connection, I will take a step back and reassess the situation. This feels like this wanted to come through because I feel that there may be some of you who are going through experiences like this, where you've had relationships, romantic, friendships, family. It could be any form of a relationship where you've had a connection and a loyalty with someone. Perhaps you helped one another at a time, and or they did something to help and support you, and you appreciated it and you were loyal to that people, right? Or you had a loyal friendship, a relationship, connection, partnership, whatever have you. But then things started to change. It could be that you were going through a deep transformation and you were changing, and you were learning how to not self betray, and you were learning deeper ways of loving yourself and unraveling out of codependency and delusional energies. And you started to realize, or you might start to notice in some of these circumstances, that you're not able to sustain the original agreements because you've outgrown them. Okay. And to stay in some of those loyalties would actually be detrimental to your growth. Okay. So as you are growing and learning, you may start to see friendships or connections or relationships in a different way because you've been clearing out the dissociation and codependence. So your levels of loyalty may shift to other people, places, and things based on what is loyal and respectful to you. And it feels important to acknowledge that this is an important part of the transformational process. And it doesn't even mean that you have to be mad or angry or frustrated at the people who have not been able to maintain that with you. You may feel those emotions or experiences, but you can also transmute through any resentments or through any angers or hurts simply by honoring what is correct for you, by maintaining loyalty to yourself. Because this, I believe, is a very old detrimental pattern that has kept our general collective very stuck and in a lot of toxic behavior. And what I mean by that is where there are a lot of people who are feeling loyal to one another, but in a way where they're actually squishing, squelching, projecting, and judging one another in order to create a facade of an external friendship. But when it really comes down to it, the truth has not actually been present in those situations, or you're seeing people that have a lot of built up resentment and judgments and they're not moving through it, but they're trying to pretend like everything is okay. And I'm bringing this up because this is a lot of what is dissolving. And I'm guessing most of you here have already experienced this or are experiencing it. And at first, it can feel a little bit scary and disconcerting because everything that you've known or the things that you've been around that you thought were close to you, you start to see more of the truth because you're aligning with your internal truth. And when you ask for the truth, you're going to start to see where the distortion was living. But this is okay. And I think that it's important that I want to address that it's important to process whatever you're feeling, but you can also ask to drop in compassion within the connection, compassion for yourself for doing the best that you could within those energies, compassion for the other people and places and things for being able to do the best that they could within those circumstances, giving yourself that space and that grace to allow all sides to grow. Okay. And that's why I say space and grace, because we're all going through this option to ascend and transform. And we're going about this at different rates and in different ways. Okay. So it's important that you honor where you are. And it's important to honor the results of the work that you've been doing. And if you are outgrowing those old, outdated ways of being, of projecting, of codependency, let yourself evolve out of those, love. You can do it in love and truth. You can send compassion and clarity to the situations, give it space, and trust and know that the people that are truly meant to be with you on your path, friends, family, romantic partnerships, whatever have you, they're going to meet back up with you at some point. Okay. If it's really truly at the core of it, there was a genuine friendship and genuine love and genuine intention of camaraderie, it's going to come back together. Okay. And if not, it'll dissolve and fall away and be replaced by things that are more in alignment with who you truly are, loves. Okay. So when we allow the truth to drop in and we allow ourselves to be self loyal in a loving way to ourselves and others, it allows us to actually find more energy of who we truly are, right? Having more confidence in that magic, in that inner energy, in that inner truth. And if you're having people, places, and things around you that either cannot see this, who don't understand it, or who do not like it, or are intimidated by it, there may be a time where you just have to let those people dissolve out of your space for a while so that you can fully step into all of who you are. And as you do this, understand them exiting your space and your energy is actually a gift that's giving you the space and grace to be able to embody into the version of you that you've actually wanted to become. Okay. And there may be emotions that need to process. There may be hurts and feelings and all sorts of things that need to be processed. Allow yourself to go through it. Allow yourself to unravel the resentments and the judgments and the codependence. Allow yourself to drop into your truth. Allow yourself to take responsibility for your part of the codependent patterns. It's all okay. And as you do, you can drop into more and more of this truth and start to, again, draw in people who want to connect with the authentic, aligned, truthful version of who you are, right? And then those people that have been doing the same on the other side, they're going to meet you, love. They're going to meet you. Okay. So beautiful. This was from the masculines. Now let's see what would the feminines like to bring in to support the process for our collective here. Whoa. Okay. No, hold on one second. It feels like it's all flowing together today, loves. So the feminines are really, to me, it's just a constant, beautiful flow of these masculine, feminine energies. The masculines are like, look, get into your true embodiment. That's what the world wants to see. And the feminines are like, yes, be this empress energy of all of who you are. Okay. And I'm saying this also for the masculines, right? The masculines being comfortable in all of those aspects of who they are, their internal union, and letting ourselves truly open up to those higher abilities, that higher connection, and being able to embody it. Something just came in that was unexpected that I feel guided to share. For those of you here that are on a divine counterpart journey, and you may be in states of no or low communication, and you're in this space where everyone and everything has been telling you to focus on yourself, to let go of your feminine, let go of your masculine, and just get into that internal union. There is a very important pocket and piece of time that I feel guided to address. And there's a few stages that you guys may have experienced or are experiencing. When you have that initial bubble love phase, and you're very connected, and then say you go into a separation phase, that's where it can be very intensely uncomfortable because you're feeling the attachments and you're feeling the connection very strongly and very viscerally as a part of yourself. And you're trying everything that you can do to bring it back, get it back into your control so that you can feel whole again. And most likely you found that that didn't work. In fact, it probably pushed the connection away farther until you finally reach the state of being able to stand in your own energy and just learn how to work with the connection. But then there's also this pocket of time where, say, maybe you've gotten into your own energy and you're not worrying about what your masculine or feminine are doing, and you're just trying to rebuild your own life. And then you hit this pocket where maybe you were even like so out of the loop with your counterpart that maybe you were even shutting it out in order to focus on yourself. And then you may find that there's this pocket where you're ready to open up to the next levels and layers of who you are. And when you open it up, you discover that the energy and essence of your divine counterpart, masculine or feminine, is present in those next levels and layers in the energetics. And there may be a pocket where that feels uncomfortable and uncertain or confusing. You might say, well, I've been focusing on myself and they're still not in my physical world or in communication, but here's their energy all of a sudden. And then you can sometimes go into these pockets of thinking, am I doing something wrong because I'm thinking about my counterpart or their energy came back? Like, am I in the chasing energy, or am I, if I think about my counterpart, is that going to mess things up? Like, I'm supposed to be leaving them alone. This is different. This is a different pocket. And for those of you who hear this, you're going to know if it's true for you. So don't try to force it, okay? There may also come a pocket of time like this where you're being called to embrace your counterpart's higher essence as that counterpart to your own inner union. Okay. So, say if you're a feminine, your masculine energy, your masculine counterpart's higher energy may come in to support your inner union, to support you in learning how to deeply embody your internal masculine and feminine. And that may be why they're presenting. So ask, okay? I'm not saying this is the be all end all, but I'm saying it's a potential that's worth asking and exploring if you're confused. And the same thing for the masculines who may be growing, focusing on themselves, and then ready to expand into their higher energies or ready to grow in new ways. And then they get quiet and open up those parts of themselves, and all of a sudden their feminine, that they counterpart, is there. And what I'm sensing is there's some masculines that may start to feel like, I'm supposed to figure it out myself. I'm not supposed to rely on my feminine for her higher intuitive abilities. I get that, right? Because we've said we were going to work on our own respective parts. But it could be the same exact thing, that as the masculine is actually taking responsibility to expand his own intuitive abilities, he may discover that his divine feminine counterpart is very, very present. But this is a different energy than relying on her in her physical form to hold up the emotional or intuitive parts of the connection. If you're taking responsibility for yourself and you're opening it up, her energy and essence may be present to support you in embodying and developing your internal union. Okay. And it feels important. And how you can know the difference is to ask and have that intention. I'm not intending to piggyback off my masculine. I'm not intending to pull from my feminine. I'm simply intending to embody my own internal union and to learn as much as I can about myself and my true energy and essence as possible. And as you ask for the truth and you step into your authenticity, Well, my loves, if this is truly genuinely your divine twin flame counterpart, they're going to be present because they are you. They are your essence. And so if you're opening up to more of who you are and their energy is there and available, it's because it's coming to support you in your next levels of growth. Okay. If you're uncertain, ask for your truth and give it space and grace. The main ways you're going to know that you're in the right energies is that you're not chasing, you're not having expectations on the connection. Okay. You might have your standards around how you want to communicate or be treated, but you're not demanding it or angry or pressuring the other counterpart to be or do a certain way. You're honoring that they're on their own sovereign journey at this time, but you're also allowing yourself to grow into your truth. And they and their higher self may be a very important piece of your next levels of growth. Okay. So I'm going to let you sit with that for yourself and how that feels for you. I would love to hear from you how this resonates, how this feels. I would love to hear if you've ever experienced this type of phenomenon where you actually embraced your counterpart's higher self essence and allowed them to support you, even if you were not in physical world communication. And just if you feel guided, feel free to share that. I love you. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll be coming on soon this week. I've been actually thinking about doing a few weeks ago, I did the masculine seven chakra check-in, and then I did a seven chakra check-in for the feminines. And I used to do the inner union ones, but I'm thinking about doing one with the actual divine masculine, feminine collective seven chakra check-in and how those are bridging in the heart space. If you guys think that you would like that, let me know. And I think I'm going to try to do that sometime this week. All right, my doves, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Love you. Bye.